Dynamo Nation, what's going on? My name is James. Thank you for being with me today on this episode. If you are new to the channel, new to Dynamo Nation, welcome. Truly appreciate you being here with me. If you are not subscribed, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Definitely helps out the channel. Helps me to pump out more Dynasty content like this. With that being said, today's episode is a big one. I've been working on this. I am excited about this episode. If you're the type of manager that likes to look at stats, look at things outside the box, this is definitely the episode for you. We're looking for every edge that we can possibly get in our Dynasty leagues. And I feel like this episode is going to help us get there. I've been talking about this topic for a while, and that is rookie draft picks between rounds 3 and 5. And that we should be targeting those picks in almost every trade that we're making. If you can get a pick, a 3rd, 4th, or 5th, add it in to close out any deal, to sweeten any deal, you need to be taking advantage of it. A lot of managers do not value these picks the same as they do 1st and 2nd round picks. And I understand it. First rounders are really where we're going to get the bulk of our stud players. But that's not to say that we cannot find those players in rounds 3 through 5. That's a fallacy. And this episode is going to show that. So I want to get right into it. I want to show the guidelines and where we're gathering this data from. Okay. So I'm going to put our first table up here. It's going to show us where exactly we're getting the data from. And all of this is coming from my fantasy league. My fantasy league holds mock drafts every year. And we're looking to see, these are ADP's My Fantasy League Dynasty Rookie Mock Drafts in the month of June for each of these years. And we're looking at 2017 through 2019. Chose that for a specific reason. I feel like 3 full seasons is enough for us to gauge whether or not a player has been a hit or not for our fantasy leagues. And 2019 is the last year that we can look at that data, okay, with the 2021 regular season just ending. So these leagues are all 12-team leagues. They were non-superflex leagues. These are 1-point PPR, and these are IDP leagues. So that's where the data is coming from. And what we're going to do is we're going to look and see where the draft hits are coming from in the 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see, is this player a hit, and which positions are we most likely to get a hit from in those rounds? Okay, that's how we've broken this up. So let's throw our next table up. This is going to allow us to look and see what we have defined as a hit. So as you can see, the threshold for a player being considered a hit decreases as we get further into the draft, as it should. A 5th round pick should not produce as much as a top 5 pick. That's just how it goes. And when we're looking at a top 5 pick, we're looking to see, like, this player must be a foundational, transformational piece for that to be considered a hit. They need to be someone we can build around for the future. We need to see that within 3 seasons. For a 1st round pick, this player must have 1 top 12 finish within 3 seasons. If you're getting drafted in the 1st round, I need you to be a contributor almost immediately. For our 2nd round picks, 1 top 18 finish. A 2nd rounder should produce a nice, decent starter for us. It really should. And then for a 3rd rounder, we need to see a top 24 finish within 3 seasons out of our 3rd round picks for that to be a hit. And then for our 4th and 5th round picks, we need to see 1 top 36 finish for that player to be considered a hit. And I wanted to make the criteria kind of stringent for a reason. All of these picks are players that if we draft them, if they are starting for us, then that's helping our team out, So a 4th and 5th round pick, if we can get a borderline starter, 100% that's a hit for us. So I want to get right into it again, look at what our 1st round stats are showing us, and I'll throw that up here. You guys can take a look. I found it really interesting. Obviously, the 1st round, we've got the most success in terms of whether or not a player is a hit or not. So for those 3 seasons, 20 out of 36 1st round picks qualified as a hit, okay? 10 out of the 18 picks were running backs. So 10 out of the 18 hits were running backs. Only 1 quarterback was taken in these 1 QB leagues, and that was Kyler Murray. Obviously, Murray's been a hit. 6 out of 13 wide receivers hit in the 1st round, and then 3 out of 4 tight ends hit in the 1st round. That part was pretty interesting to me because tight ends take forever to develop. But obviously, if we're looking at tight ends in the 1st round, they probably have high draft pedigree in the NFL. So that's what our 1st round looked like. Really no surprises there for me. I don't know how you guys felt. Drop it in the comment below if any of that surprised you. Again, for my super flex players out there, you're going to be really shocked that you're not seeing quarterbacks going in the 1st round in these drafts. And Superflex leagues, when we have those drafts, we know the quarterbacks get pushed all the way up to the first round. That's why I didn't choose to do Superflex for a reason, and that was the reason why. I felt like the data was going to be a little bit skewed. I wanted to show what we're looking at, especially in the IDP league, where we're getting our bulk of our teams built up at. So let's look at second round here. Our second round stats to know. So out of 36 picks, 13 picks in the second round would qualify as a hit. Okay? So remember, these are players that finish at least one top 18 finish at their respective positions. Only 3 out of 12 wide receivers in the second round hit between 2017 and 2019. 2 were quarterbacks, so 2 out of 5 quarterbacks drafted. 2 out of 3 tight ends. 2 out of 2 defensive linemen. These linemen were Myles Garrett and Joey Bosa, who are both absolute studs. 4 out of 5 linebackers hit, okay? And here's the crazy one. 0 out of 9 running backs drafted in the second round were considered a hit with what we're doing here. That is a crazy number. And I kind of believe it because when teams go on a run, we all know these dynasty draft, running backs go really early. And if you missed out on a running back early on, they always get pushed up the draft board. Always. And we see these managers, we see these owners reach on these picks and it blows up in their face. Now, I know recently there's been a couple of second round picks that have hit at running back in our dynasty drafts. Antonio Gibson was a second round pick. Like, he's had back-to-back pretty good years. There's a few others. But it's interesting to see between 2017 and 2019. So 3 full drafts, 0 out of 9 RBs finished in the top 18 in any of those years. That's crazy to me. So we can see it's already dropping. We can see what it looked like in the first round. It's already dropping in the second round. We go from 20 to 13. All right. Let's throw the third round up here. We can take a look at it together. So for the third round, out of 36 picks, we know that we're looking at 15 out of the 36 being considered a hit. Again, 4 out of 12 wide receivers, 3 out of 6 quarterbacks, 1 out of 6 running backs, 1 out of 3 tight ends, 2 out of 3 defensive linemen, 2 out of 4 linebackers, and then 2 out of 2 on the DB side of things hit. Again, looking at this, we're looking to see if you're in the third round, it's probably safer to target your IDP, a quarterback, or a receiver. Running backs still are not hitting for us in the third round. It's not a shocker to me. It's kind of the same deal as the second. Running backs have an artificial value that always gets inflated in dynasty rookie drafts. Always. And if you're not getting them in the first round, rounds 2 and 3 are showing us you probably should just leave them alone. All right? Focus on other positions on the field. Focus on taking the flyer at quarterback. Focus on taking players in the, on the defensive side of things if you're in the IDP league. And what I want to do now is I want to show you some third round picks that hit. Okay? You're going to be surprised. There's some names out here. There's some big boys in the third round that hit in the last few seasons. And again, these are 1 quarterback leagues. I get it. 2 of these players would never last into the third round in a Superflex, but we're not talking Superflex right now. If you like the video enough that you want me to do a Superflex version of it, I'll do that. But for right now, 1 QB league. Let's take a look. These are notable players drafted in the third round between 2017 and 2019 based on ADP in June. How many of these names are surprising you? Because there's some big boys on this list. We're looking at Pat Mahomes, the QB1 in Dynasty, in a 1 quarterback league, was a third round pick in the month of June when he got drafted in 2017. Think about that. Josh Allen, another huge quarterback, a third round pick in terms of ADP in 2018. Cooper Kupp, the wide receiver 1 right now, was a third round pick in 2017. And Scary Terry, a stud in his own right, was a third round pick in 2019. Like, we're looking at that. Like, those are some big names. Those are 2 stud quarterbacks and 2 stud receivers that were drafted in the third round. And again, these are picks that people are just giving away. I mean, the value on a third versus the second is significantly lower. And we can see that hit rate in the third round versus the second round you had a better chance in the third round in terms of getting a hit. So I found these names when I did this, they were kind of shocking when I was looking at the ADP. And I was like, damn, Mahomes was sitting there. Josh Allen was sitting there. Cooper. And there's a long, long list of names. There's a lot of people that were sitting there. So let's move to the fourth round. And our stats know in the fourth round. We're looking at our hits in the fourth. This is actually the worst of the bottom 3 rounds, is the fourth round. Only 11 out of 36 picks qualified as a hit. 1 out of 10 receivers, so 10%. 0 out of 3 quarterbacks. 1 out of 9 running backs. 1 out of 5 tight ends. 3 out of 4 defensive linemen. 2 out of 2 LBs. And then 3 out of 3 DBs. So 100% for me, the focus should be in the fourth round. If you're in the IDP league, stick with the IDP side of things. They look like they are much safer to be picking up in the fourth than any of the skill positions. But that's not to say that there are not players in the fourth round in these last few seasons that have not hit for us, because there are a couple of really big names in the fourth round. Let's look up our fourth round notable players. We all can take a look together. We're looking at the likes of Aaron Jones was drafted in the fourth round. So the one running back that hit was Aaron Jones. We are looking at Mark Andrews, an absolute stud of a tight end, was a fourth round pick in ADP in the month of June in 2018 for Dynasty rookie drafts. Darius Leonard, if he's not LB1, he's 2 or 3. He was a fourth round pick in 2018. And then Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay was a fourth round pick. I mean, the last 2 seasons he's been down, but Kenny Galladay, he had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, his second and third year in the leagues. And he was looking pretty damn good. If you got a player like that in the fourth round, that is value all day that we'll take. If you can get 2 really nice seasons out of him, take it all day. So, as you can see, there's still a lot of value to be had in the fourth round. It's just a matter of us finding these players and drafting them. And the only way you're going to do that, man, get as many of these picks as you possibly can. Dart throws, honestly. So let's move to the fifth round. The fifth round is surprising. I was kind of shocked to see the fifth round had a better hit rate than the fourth round. Okay, so let's throw fifth round stats up here, stats to know. And we can see out of 36 picks, 12 out of 36 in the fifth round hit. Right? So it's better than the fourth by 1, but it's still better. 1 out of 6 receivers, 0 out of 2 running backs. Surprisingly, 3 out of 14 running backs were a hit in the fifth round in those drafts. 3 out of 6 tight ends, and then 3 out of 5 D-line, 2 out of 2 LBs, and then 0 out of 1 for our DB side of things. So in the fifth round, we're looking to see tight ends, obviously has the best hit rate, 3 out of 6. Our running backs, surprisingly, 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 14. It's not great numbers, it's not great odds, but 3 of the running backs being taken that were hits, that's better than rounds 2, 3, and 4 combined. Like, think about that. Round 5, you have a better chance at hitting on a running back over just that time frame, 2017 to 2019, than you did taking a running back in the second round. That's crazy. I didn't expect to see that. So, and again, our IDP side of things, generally, if an IDP player is worth drafting, there's a good chance that they're going to finish in the top 36, top 24, wherever you're taking them at. They're going to be a nice contributor for you on that side of things. So let's look at notable players that were taken in the fifth round. This is also going to be a surprise to you. We're looking at players in the fifth round. Dawson Knox, who has developed this year. He's developed into a very solid tight end. He's like tight end 6 or 7 right now. And that was a fifth round pick back in 2019. Tony Pollard, 2019. He might be the future of Dallas at running back. He was a fifth round pick. Then we're looking at Fred Warner, linebacker for the Niners. He's an absolute stud. And this is someone we could have gotten in the fifth round. And then Hunter Renfrow. You can say whatever you want about Hunter Renfrow. That dude has been balling all season. And this is a fifth round pick. So we're looking at these numbers. I mean, there's been a lot of players that were drafted over the years. And I'll put all the hits up for you. I'll start right here with round 1. You can take a look at that. I'm not going to leave these up here very long, but these are going to be all the hits between rounds 1 2, 3, 4, and 5. Put the second round up. But yeah, so like these players are there's definite value in each and every one of them. And it's just a matter of us grabbing those draft picks and taking the time to sit here and learning these players in the draft and figuring out where we're going to go. And this isn't like the end all be all, but this at least gives us a guide, to show like, okay, if I'm picking in the 4th and 5th round and I have to choose between the RB 17 in this draft or the DB1 in this draft, where am I best going? You're probably best served moving and going towards taking that linebacker or that defensive back or that defensive lineman versus reaching on these running backs or these receivers where all the production's already been drafted. Now, there's been hits on the offensive side of things. I'm not going to deny that. But as you can see, I mean, there's been some big names popping up on this screen, in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds on the defensive side of things and offense. So, wanted to definitely put this to video. I find it very interesting. This is how we can build our teams, build that middle part of our teams, that middle class, if you want to call it that. We're going to get most of our studs in the 1st round. There's no disputing that. But if you're not valuing 3rd, 4th, and 5th round picks the way you should, hopefully this video changes your mind. And if you think like me, then you're probably already doing this. Load up on those picks, have as many dart throws as you possibly can, and just pick away at the board. Pick and choose. And especially if you're in an IDP league, the fastest way to turn your team around is to get a stud IDP. Like, if you can have the best IDP in your league and you can flip an IDP quick, if you can have the best IDP in your league, you're going to be in almost every game. Because managers who don't focus on it, they're getting 6, 7 points out of a DB, maybe 10 points from a linebacker, 5 or 6 points from a D lineman. But if your linebackers are scoring 20 points and your DBs are scoring 16 points and your linemen are scoring 12 points, that adds up really quick. And this is where you can build your teams, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. IDP, wide receiver, quarterback, tight end. The only position that you should probably be avoiding is that running back spot until you get to the 5th round. And the reason why these running backs go in the 5th round is because they're late picks in the NFL. They're 4th, 5th, 6th, undrafted players in the NFL. But as we've seen over years, I mean, Austin Eckler, undrafted. James Robinson, undrafted. It's just a nonstop rotation of undrafted running backs who produce. And these are players that we can grab in the 5th round of our rookie drafts. So I hope you found this information useful. Hope it was intriguing to you. I enjoyed putting it together. If you got anything out of it, if you enjoyed it, you want to see more content like this, if you want to see me do a super flex version of this, remember to subscribe to the channel. Comment down below. Let me know if any of this surprised you, any of these players surprised you. Again, 1 quarterback league. I don't want any of my super flex truthers coming at me talking about, oh, Mahomes was 1-1, Allen was 1-1. I get it. This is not super flex. We're not talking about that in this one. This is a 1 quarterback format. I have no problem doing a super flex if you guys want it. So let me know down below. So, all right, Dynamo Nation, that's going to be the video for today. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys are still in the playoffs, lock down those wins. It's looking like I'm going to win both of my leagues right now. I feel good. The one league, the scoring is kind of crazy. So, like, one player can go absolutely berserk and score 50, 60 points in that league. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about that happening to me in that league. As long as no one has a blow-up game, I should lock that one down. So it's moving on to the 2nd round. So if you're still in it, congratulations, good luck, and I will see you guys next time. See you.